Today we're sitting down with Anna Woodring. She's the strength and conditioning coach at the Idaho Outdoor Fieldhouse. Amazing facility, and she has quite the amazing background. Join us as we hear about Anna's experience coaching with the UGA football program, holding the Marine Corps record for most pull-ups for a female, and all about her ridiculous, constant passion for fitness. Strap yourselves in. Welcome to the Mission 43 podcast, a podcast dedicated to discussing the struggles and triumphs of transitioning to life after the military. I'm Dan Nelson. I'm a former Army Special Forces officer who's personally experienced the challenges of transitioning to civilian life. In every episode, we'll be sharing tips, strategies, and real-life stories of veterans and their families who've chosen Idaho for their life after the military. So join us, and let's start the conversation. All right, Anna, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Really excited about this. So
you are a DBA, a designated badass, that coming from North Georgia, that came all the way over here to run strength and conditioning at the Idaho Outdoor Fieldhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I took a leap, and it's definitely the best job. I've already recognized how important, how special this kind of community and area is, and I'm already loving every second of being here. So,
well, it's pretty damn cool. Like your background, like you're a Marine Corps officer, right?
Yes.
Just recently transitioned to being a civilian, or are you still in that transition?
Still technically in and out. So right now I'm an open contract. The Marine Corps obviously is having across any branch right now just retention issues. So if they can hold on to officers, they will. So with that process, an open kind of contract deal. So I'm still in as a reserve captain right now. Helping basically program for the reserve. So I help make training programs for a lot of the reserve units. Right now we have a proof of concept paper that's coming out on our end, just showing a program that I implemented. Because, you know, reservists just don't get the same time to work out like active duty. So a lot of those guys end up falling off the radar just because they can't pass a PFT. They're falling out of height and weight standards very easily because they're not there every single day.
Right.
Having a staff sergeant, gunnery sergeant, you know, getting you going every day.
Yeah.
So that's my job right now. So I'm still in Boise, you know, sending workout programs to TCOM and to our units to trying to get this reserve numbers up.
What made you go that direction? Like you're from North Georgia, right? Like originally?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Where at?
LJ.
Okay.
So it's pretty North Georgia, right in the Appalachian kind of area, right next to Blue Ridge Mountains, about an hour from the Tennessee line.
Okay, very cool. So north left Georgia.
Yes.
And then what made you choose the path of service, like in the Marine Corps in particular?
Yeah, you know, I always felt a little bit of a calling towards the military. You know, as little, I loved, you know, watching the military stuff. I really enjoyed just seeing military members, and I just had a really high respect for that. So I originally wanted to, straight out of high school, go and enlist. Mm-hmm. I ended up being very fortunate and lucky that I had a athletic scholarship at the time. So my mom and family kind of pushed me towards that direction, just saying, hey, let's just make sure this is what you really want to do. You're going to get your college paid for regardless, so let's give this a shot. And, you know, at 18, I took that advice and went that way. As soon as I graduated college, though, I still wanted to do it.
Where'd you go and what'd you play?
Kennesaw State. So it started as a tennis scholarship, and I know this is crazy. Went from tennis to rugby. So
yep.
It is
that is crazy
huge.
Indeed.
I know. Yep. So I went straight from playing college tennis into rugby at Kennesaw State. Exercise science was my degree, so I always really liked that training aspect, getting everybody together, working them out. I honestly led most of the rugby workouts, and we had, you know, strength professionals, but I always, like, that was a little bit of an internship even at that time. I was digging into what they were doing, how they were programming for us. And so once I graduated and still wanting to, you know, serve the military, it was between the Army and Marine Corps. And I just said, which PT test is harder? So I went with the Marine Corps.
The mistakes keep piling on. But no, you actually, speaking of that PFT, you hold a Marine Corps record, do you not?
Yes, the pull-ups for the females. So
how many is that?
41. So
only 41?
Only 41. So it started off just as almost like, hey, I just want to beat my Marines out. And that's kind of how it started. When I actually went to OCS, they went from the transition from, you know, everybody knows the standard flexed arm hang.
Yep.
That I was the first cycle where they gave the females a choice to actually do pull-ups.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, first cycle, you know, and obviously for Marine Corps, you can go underhand or overhand. Mm-hmm. I had to jump through hoops to even get my waiver for an ACL injury during rugby. So I thought I needed to just do pull-ups. I didn't even know that the flexed arm hang was even a thing. I thought everyone did pull-ups going in. And so when I went into OCS, I did the pull-ups, and they made like a video when I was there of me doing them. I think I did 23 when I was there, which was over the Mel 100, which at that time it was 20. Now it is 23.
Oh, really? I thought it's still 20. Okay.
No, 23 is now the new number with the plank integration as well. So, things have been changing. But so, I went in, and then once I got out to my units, I just kept doing pull-ups, trying to get my guys motivated, trying to get them to get their numbers up. And then I just wanted to be able to beat every guy in my unit, and it'd be a challenge for them to beat me. So
what made you passionate about fitness, and has that like been since your childhood? It sounds like certainly when you're in college, but like what got you down this path of really wanting to dig in?
Yeah, I think it's the competition for me originally is what happened. I always wanted to compete with my brothers. So my brothers were always
older, younger?
Younger, actually. Okay. But we're all close in age, so a year and then 3. So 1 year apart and then 3 years, and they were studs in high school, and I mean they still work out and stuff, just not at that same capacity. And I think just growing up with them, keeping up with them, wanting to be faster, just playing with them all the time, it set that tone almost. And then I found out I was pretty good at it, and I like to do it. So I was like, if I like to do something and I'm pretty decent at it, I just wanted to keep it going. So
what did you do in the Marine Corps?
So I was, it's kind of an integration. The Marine Corps air defense kind of like laps over a little bit of everything. So you've got like air defense, you monitoring radars, Stinger missile shooter. It's a little bit, you go to school for variety of items.
But it's a combat arms branch.
Yes, it is. And then for me, I got very fortunate when I came in at the time with that pull-up push for the females. So with me, at OCS, they took note. I went to Quantico, obviously. Every, officer is an infantry officer as well. So you do go through the basic school, go through infantry training and everything else. So when I was there, they held me in Quantico for another year after I completed all that. And that was to do testing for them. They had a force fitness program that was getting pushed out at that time. So I kind of became on board with that. So I went through the course and then helped them fix the course for future courses.
You're the reason why the Marine Corps increased its max pull-ups
Probably.
23 to 20. So if you're in the Marine Corps right now, you can send your emulators to Anna Woodring at the Idaho Outdoor Fieldhouse.
Yeah,
anytime.
that is it.
Well, I'm curious still too, like in our lifetime, there's been a lot of changes, right? Because like when I joined the Marine Corps in 2001, women weren't allowed to be in combat arms.
Yes.
And then so that is all changed, like you're talking about the flexed arm hang versus pull-ups. So what has it been like for you as a woman to be a part of this change?
It's been great, honestly. I think a lot of people have an issue with how the standards, and that's why I think I took so much pride in maxing the male standard every time. So getting a 300 PFT on the male category, not the female category. And for me, I did that myself because I wanted them to know I can do what they can. So like they don't feel any type of, some people just didn't want females there. At the end of the day, some guys were like, no, if they're not doing the exact same standard as me, I don't want them there. And, the combat arms test that you have to take, yes, you have to get a minimum score on it, but the PFT is still separate as well as the CFT. There are still different standards in that aspect.
You're talking about the combat fitness test and things like that. Like, and really, like in Mission 43 in our membership, it's a debate all the time. Like, again, when I went through Ranger School, like, no females had ever been through Ranger School before. Now that stuff is all changing, like, as we speak, right? Like, there's people going through everything. And what is your take on that? Like, what is your feeling about that? Because you're obviously passionate enough, like you said, to always exceed the standards, no matter what the standard is, male, female, or otherwise. But what are your feelings, I guess, now and the current state of things as far as the training and the standards? Yeah,
I think just keep pushing. I feel like if you can do it, you should be able to be there. You know what I mean? And that might mean, hey, as a female, you do have to work a little bit harder. You're just naturally not making as much testosterone as males. And that might mean in certain aspects, like strength, I may have to work a little bit harder just to meet those standards. But if that's something you're passionate about, you want to do, and you want to get there, I think you should be able to get there if you do it the right way. Yeah. And it took me, a lot of training to be able to get there. And I think that the standards in certain aspects should be the same across the board, especially, special operations, and stuff like that. You should be able to, even if you're not going to be ruck running 12 miles, and that's just not going to happen realistically a lot of the times. But that one chance it does, and also you earn the respect of your brothers to your left and your right if you're able to do what they can do, and you uphold the standard that they have to uphold.
Where does your work ethic come from?
I've always just had, that's a good question. I really, I don't know. I guess my parents maybe have raised me the right way and just kept me driven. Like I said, I think it's just having that constant sense of, I just want to better myself every day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think for a lot of people that are watching or listening, like they're, the nature of our demographic is people that are either transitioning from the military or that have transitioned. And in that, a lot of us go through phases where our shirts get really tight on our gut and loose on our arms. Triggered by that for me. But what advice do you have for the people like me that are like, man, I used to be this, and now I feel inside like I'm the same. Like I still got it inside, but on the outside, I'm this. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
I say number one is take the first step. Like just do something every day and start making a new routine. So
what if it's embarrassing because you know where you used to be at?
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's literally like an ego thing, I guess, that you're starting from scratch again.
Yeah, and I mean that to me is just where you have to humble yourself almost. And that comes even for someone like me that still gets, that has almost remained constant. I would
say you remain constant, yeah.
But if you were to tell me, hey, like 2 or 3 years ago, I could ruck run 50-pound pack, 10-pound rifle in my hand at probably a 10:30, 11 minute per mile pace for 12 miles. If you told me to do that right now, it would kill me. I could not keep that pace.
It would kill most people.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. And I remember not too long ago, actually, I threw on the pack and was trying to even remain at that pace for just 4 or 5 miles. And I remember I started walking because I was just disappointed in myself. I was like, what, am I out of shape? Like, what's going on? Like, what happened? And in that moment, I was just like thinking, like, I don't have to be like that all the time. You don't have to constantly be at this elite level of fitness, even though you once were, and that's what you're thinking, that hey, I was this at one time. It's just about getting your mind back right and taking the small steps slowly and humbling yourself to it.
How old are you?
32.
So I can't really ask you too many questions about like how to deal with that either ego and also just the physical nature of aging, because you're like drinking vampire blood over there and unicorn blood or whatever you're injecting. I don't know, but you're timeless. So I don't know, like what advice do you have to people that are struggling with their bodies not being able to do what it used to do?
First thing is making sure you kind of hone in on that nutrition piece. That is what I would say a lot of people struggle with the most, and it's actually the most impactful. So a good rule of thumb, a lot of people say 60-40, 70-30, with that higher number being nutrition. So you're looking at, 70% to 60% of performance, as well as how you're going to feel when you actually do work out, coming from that nutrition piece. So, dialing back the alcohol, increasing your protein content so your body retains muscle and is not just burning through it. At some point, your body's going to resort to burning through muscle, and you need to build that up.
Yeah.
And also just, like I said, developing a routine. For me, I know if I get out of my routine, it's going to be very hard for me to get back in it.
Yeah.
So if you can start small, whether that be, hey, I am going for the next 2 to 3 weeks, walk my dog an extra mile, just something small, and then building off that and having someone be accountable with you. That is going to be your biggest pieces of, hey, I want to do something. I don't know where to start, and starting small, whether that mean, hey, I'm going to run 3 miles a day, add in 100 push-ups a day. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe I split it up during the day, 1 mile in the morning, 2 miles at night, 50 push-ups, separate, but find the little things and then build off them.
How do you do it as far as the accountability piece? Like, who is your accountability buddy?
So for forever, it was my Marines, obviously, and I used to have somebody I'd work out with every single day. His name's Austin Light. He's a badass. Went straight out of the Marine Corps. Now he works for Facebook, I know, but
Facebook.
Yeah, but he was my accountability buddy for forever. We worked out every single day together, stationed for a little bit together. But now I did have a hard time with that transition.
Yeah, you're in a new state now. Like you guys just moved here.
Yeah, and it was even harder, I think, at UGA though, because they're all doing very much power-based workouts, very much football workouts, and I was still in and still am in, so I still need to maintain my military fitness. So it was hard, I'd say, to run by myself again and to kind of, stay at that same intensity level. Now that I'm here, I'd say it's just my morning crew. I mean, they're just there. They're waiting on me to get there to coach them, and that's my time I work out as well. So it's been nice having somebody show up in the morning and every morning with me. So
well, you touched on it, but you just finished your master's in kinesiology, right?
Yes.
At University of Georgia.
Yep.
And you also happen to be a strength coach for that little, what do they call it? Oh, yeah, football team at University of Georgia. No one's ever heard of them, but I know you were one of the only female on the strength and conditioning staff, right?
Yeah, I was the first one that they allowed to kind of come on board. I remember when I applied, I got accepted into the program. I was transitioning out of the Marine Corps of active duty at that time. Mm-hmm. Got accepted, and first conversation I had with my advisor was, hey, I want to work with the football team because you have to do either a GA program, an internship program. You have to do those kind of courses just to get a credibility, as well as you need that recommendation letter coming from some Division I strength site. So he was like, okay, yeah, let's do Olympic sports, which is basketball, gymnastics. And I was like, okay, no, what about football though? Because like I was a big football fan, especially UGA, you know. Yeah. And he's like, oh no, they don't, you can try, but they don't let females over there. Like they don't. I've had throughout the years, hundreds of females apply, and they don't take them. So to me, again, I took that as a challenge. I was like, I'm gonna have the best resume. I'm gonna go talk to the head coach myself. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show them, go through a workout with them, show them I can keep up. And so I did that, and I got selected. So it was a big deal for me. And just again, I think it showed like if somebody tells you no, for me, it almost like puts more fuel under my ass to like go after it.
That's why I never tell you no about anything. 'Cause I know it's gonna come back to bite me in the ass. Well, what was that experience like though? I mean, like you're doing the GA thing, right? The graduate assistant thing. So you're going to school as a student. You're still a Marine Corps officer, still training for that, like you said, on your own. And you're coaching, a national championship football team in strength conditioning.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, so they expect you usually at UGA. They're there. I was on both, obviously, for the last 2 years, in season and off season.
Mm-hmm. There is no off season.
No.
At that level.
No, you get 1 week to 2 weeks off after we won the national championship, and then we're right back at it. And then, hey, we're progressing. We're starting strength. Getting the bodies right again, getting the numbers up. But it was a lot. My weekends, sometimes I had drill weekends I had to go to, and that took me away from the team. But I was there. You're looking at 60 hours a week some weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And then going to school, I just had classes Tuesday, Thursdays. So I would just leave the weight room. We'd get there usually at 5 in the morning. We didn't leave till like 6, 7 o'clock at night. So I would just run out, go to class real fast, and I tried to make my schedule when I knew the lift times weren't going to be conflicted. It's all hands on deck there. So, I mean, the energy is out the roof, and we're running them. We're trying to keep them motivated, trying to keep them going the entire time. So you leave exhausted, to say the least.
I'm thinking, I don't think really most people understand, that level of an athletic program, the type of energy that exists around there, the drive to win and improve yourself and your team in doing so. I think it's totally unique, and I'm curious, where have you seen the most, the best athletes, in your time, both as a college athlete yourself, in the Marine Corps, and working with all, MARSOC and different things like that, and University of Georgia football program, where's the best athletic pool?
So they're so different. So for football, you're training so sport specific. They're freak athletes at the end of the day. They can jump high. They can run at crazy speeds. But we're training for that constantly, that power, speed-based training. And obviously their numbers are going to be huge. The facility they have nutrition dialed in. They have chefs that make them food every day. But they're not an overall athlete. So, you have them do endurance workouts. Most of them are going to cake it. They're going to be done after a mile and a half, and that's pushing it. So for me, maybe I'm just have my own opinion, but military athletes are, to me, 100% overall the best athletes.
Really?
Yes, because especially you're looking at the high level MARSOC guys. You can have them ask them
They're
to
okay.
do. You can ask them to do anything, and they're going to be able to do it. These football guys, they can do their certain specific task very well, and well better than special forces guys. But if you have them do something else, that's where they're not able to. MARSOC guys, special forces guys, any of those type of guys have such a high level. They could last with the football guys for a while, but then could keep going. And whereas the football guys, endurance side, fails, a lot of stamina fails as well. And durability is lacking compared as well.
Well, so you've been at this amazing facility at University of Georgia. You spent 2 years there coaching. It's just a huge mark of credibility in the strength and conditioning world to be a part of a program like that. And then you and your wife, Haley, came out here to Idaho. Like, what is it that brought you here? Because you're both from North Georgia.
Yep.
You're both huge UGA fans and UGA coach.
Yep.
Like, you could have taken that path easily at any D1 program after that experience that you wanted. What made you change direction there?
So it's funny. I think a year in, at first I was like, this is awesome. I'm attached to this program.
Yeah.
All this is going on. And it was, you kind of get like almost blinded by the lights, if that makes sense. You became like a superstar almost just from working there and being there. Mm-hmm. And I started to really miss my military guys. I started to miss that community feeling, almost the gratitude you got every day for helping them and coaching them. You get done coaching those guys, they leave immediately, Mm-hmm. Even here right now, I get told thank you every day just for, working somebody out. And it was the same way. I just got so much more back getting my guys ready for either that means deployments, just passing a PFT, getting a first class CFT, whatever it may be. I love that community and I love the relationship and just the work ethic of the military guys. They just work harder. I don't have to watch them. I don't have to, talk them in. Yeah, I don't have to count their reps. I don't have to baby them almost into just, hey, just one more. You got one more set. Like, my guys know they got one more set and they're going to do it without me having to, like, be on them, And I missed it so much. And I was at first, before this job opened up, I knew I was going to go back to the military after a year in. And the coaches knew I was too. They knew that's kind of where my passion was. I didn't know what capacity yet. So I was looking obviously at GS jobs, Mm-hmm. You're looking at contracting for special forces and being the strength coach for those guys. Mm-hmm. Also, I was toying going back active duty at the time as well. The Army offered up some pretty good positions for me with my background qualifications and everything. And then this job popped open. And I remember looking, I was like, Idaho. I was like, I don't know much about Idaho. I thought in my mind it was like Nebraska or Kansas.
Good Lord, Anna.
I know. I had no idea because Colorado was on my list
Mm-hmm.
of where I was considering working at Fort Carson.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I started looking it up and I was like, oh, man. I was like, this looks totally different than what I thought. Mm-hmm. And so we flew out here, and that's when I met all you guys and everything. And I knew at that moment I made the best decision in taking this job. I felt like I had a whole new group of family and friends immediately. And then 40 minutes from the slopes, mountain biking every morning now, out my back door, I was like, this is...
With your new mountain bike?
I know, new mountain bike, just got it. So I was like, this is the perfect place for me.
That's awesome. So what are you going to do on a daily basis, I guess, like in the field house? I know, the field house is going to be home for Mission 43 and the Challenge Athletes Foundation of Idaho. So those two demographics, mutually beneficial, but also very different, right? Mm-hmm. So you have everyone from like newly injured adaptive athlete to elite level Paralympians, and then people that are still active in some capacity with like military, law enforcement, whatever, firefighting that need to be in extreme shape. And then you have me, the people that at one time were in some sort of shape and then now are pear-shaped and wanting to improve my fitness for a whole, host of reasons. Like, how are you fitting into that puzzle?
Yeah. I think when I took the job, it was what I loved about it was so open to make it what we want it almost. So right now it's looking like I'm going to be programming for different groups. Mm-hmm. So, if you fall into you're like a little nervous and you're like, I don't know about going, is it going to be too much for me? We're always going to have a program where we can dial it back, as well as, hey, I want to do, I want to do this hiking program because I'm getting ready to, to go up all of Boise's mountains, and I really want to compete going fast. Maybe you want to do an orienteering kind of group with land nav. I know that's popping up really heavy right now. Or hey, I just want to do general fitness and get good at everything. Be like an endurance, stamina, work capacity kind of athlete. We're going to provide.
I would like to be less embarrassed to take off my shirt at the YMCA.
Or you just want to look good naked program.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And we're going to have, I'm telling you, programs across the board offering, different time slots. Swimming with the pool is amazing. And me coming as a water survival instructor, I'm so excited to get to integrate my knowledge in the water as well as just get people out there. And they're going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good experience, building really good relationships. So we're going to have me programming every single session, whether that mean in the water, mountain biking, whatever the need is or the want. Like you said, I want to look good naked. I can always put out, a naked program. That's what everybody's going to be doing. And Dan, if you want to show off the body after it's over, feel free.
Well, I think it might take some more work. I know you're really, really good at what you do, Anna, but you're not God, right? So you can't fix everything. But I think it's going to be an incredible program, honestly, and you're going to have people working out together from all different backgrounds, right? You're going to have these elite level athletes. You're going to have beginners. You're going to have military spouses that want to up their game or train for a marathon or train for a hunting trip or whatever it is. And I think it's kind of cool that you have a blank slate on what you're starting with here. It's pretty unique in the strength conditioning world, I imagine.
It is, and we can make it our own, which is so unique because, a lot of the times you need to get into a gym and people come in into a fitness facility and it's like, this is what we're supposed to be doing, but it's not working for the population. Mm-hmm. So what's so unique about this is we're going to make it work for the population and, offering, some nutrition counseling stuff to help dial that in. Right now I'm going through making a nutrition program on certain needs and getting it approved from the UGA nutritionist. She's going to look it over for me, let me know, hey, this is good to go. Any kind of critique, because obviously I'm not a certified nutritionist, just a certified strength and conditioning specialist, but that way, hey, you got a QR code, you scan it, super easy meal plan, super easy, like, hey, choose these foods, limit your sugar to less than 10 grams in whatever you're drinking or eating for the week. Just, a lot of ways for people to kind of make it a more of a holistic experience.
Being a Southerner, someone that thought that Idaho was near Nebraska, what has the experience of Mission 43 in Idaho been like for you as a military veteran?
Incredible. Honestly, I didn't even know a program like this existed. No idea. And had I known, I would have even jumped on moving here even sooner. This is such a unique, and like I said, I don't think many people do know stuff like this exists. It's awesome. What you guys provide, as well as how I felt when I moved. Moving across the country is a big deal.
It is, yeah.
And you're moving yourself as well as you're buying a house or, it's a commitment you make. Mm-hmm. And so coming out here, I never once was nervous about that because I knew.
Really?
Nope. And I think it's due to just the community you've built here at Mission 43 and then just everyone supporting each other. I never once felt worried. It honestly felt like I was moving with the military, but not with the military. It felt like I already had friends here and I hadn't even fully integrated yet.
Well, you've been all over the state already. I think you haven't hit North Idaho yet, have you?
No.
But you're going to here sooner than later. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, they're certainly welcome to do so as we progress and develop all the programming that's happening in the field house. Like, even if people are not physically able to go there, like, how do they benefit from you?
Yeah, we're currently kind of working through that, but my thought and what I think is going to take shape is we'll have a workout that I'm going to post online. So you'll have a login kind of set. The workout will get posted on that. And that will go for across anyone that's a Fieldhouse just member. So hey, you've been approved to, work out at the Fieldhouse, but let's say you don't live here. Mm-hmm. So that way, hey, here's the workout. Everyone else is doing this one. Then there'll be like a chat below it where you can communicate with me. You can chat with other people that are doing the workout. Here's a live feed of what we're doing, when we're doing it, some pictures, and then possibly even bringing that group in. So let's say like you live in northern Idaho and we have like a culminating event at the end, like, hey, you did this 6-week program with this group of people or by yourself, but you still live in that area. Bring everybody into the Fieldhouse, stay for a day or two, and we're gonna all finish it up together with maybe a mini event, something fun. And
legit.
I think it'd be a good time, and it's a way that everybody can still work out and do the same thing together, but remotely.
If you could pick one thing that you're most excited about for the Idaho Outdoor Fieldhouse facility itself, like what is that?
Oh, the turf for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, the turf is epic. Like the logo on the turf, and then being able to do everything in that weight room is just going to be unbelievable. I think I've said it a million times at this point. I never thought I'd see a facility that competed with UGA's facility, and this one competes, if not better.
Oh, we're better. No, I think it is remarkable, and thanks to the generosity of like this one family, right? Like the Jay and Catherine Albertson Family Foundation, and putting all their eggs into this basket and really just trying to provide something a world-class experience for military veterans, military spouses, and adaptive athletes and their families. Like it's unique, right?
Yeah, and being able to integrate everybody in, and it's just going to be something that no one has seen before, and having all the support with it, like it's unbelievable. The facility's unbelievable. I'm so lucky to get to work out there and train there, and then be the coach for everybody there as well.
We're so damn lucky that you're here, Anna, and thank you and Haley both for making the big leap and moving across the country to come here and be a part of this project. But it's pretty damn special that you're here, and we're super thankful and lucky to have you as a new Idahoan.
I know, and I still haven't switched out my plates yet, so if anybody sees me and it says Georgia, please do not honk if I'm turning in the wrong way. I do live here now, so.
Perfect. You're basically a native.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anna, and we'll see you at the gym.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for the Mission 43 podcast. We hope you found it informative and helpful. If you have any questions or feedback, please comment below or email podcast@mission43.org. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast to stay up to date with new episodes. Be proud of your service, not defined by it. See you next time.